Bula Sally Telly. Hi, Danae. What are you doing?
Well, I've just been doing some research for today's story. I want to know everything I can about our family history.
That's great, Danae. What have you learned so far?
Well, Moshe, I've learnt that we're gonna need some help.
Huh?
Sweatband, Moshe. Cameraman. So, we've been looking at our family history, and we know that God created our beautiful world and everything in it, including us. God gave the people He created freedom to choose how they lived, and sometimes they maybe got it a bit wrong. There were some consequences for their actions, and they were separated from God, but God had a plan to rescue not only them, but all of us. God made a promise to Abraham and Sarah that He would use their family as a part of the plan, and eventually a baby was born who would change everything. But the baby wasn't born quite yet. Abraham and Sarah had a child, who had a child, who had a child, and soon there were so many children, aunties, uncles, friends, and whānau that this group of people had their own name, the Israelites. Whew. Fast forward 300 years, and Abraham's family, the Israelites, were living in Egypt, and then got themselves into some trouble. They stopped trusting only in God's promise and started trusting themselves. The king of Egypt, Pharaoh, saw how big the Israelites were growing and decided they were a bit of a problem. So he made all the Israelites slaves.
Oh man, that was a lot to cover. We started with two people, Abraham and Sarah. And now we have their children, and then their children, and their children's children, and I've lost count.
There are literally millions of them.
That's one big family.
Yep, and that one big family had made some pretty big mistakes. But God was not going to give up on His rescue and repair plan, and that's where today's story begins.
Kia ora tamariki mā, and welcome back to The Word. I wonder if you know anyone who seems to live their life like one epic journey. Well, in the Bible, there's a guy named Moses whose whole life looked like it was full of adventure. Some parts of his journey look totally awesome, and other parts were really hard and sometimes even scary. So from as far back as when Moses was a baby, epic stuff was happening in his life. Moses was part of God's family, the Israelites, who were slaves living in Egypt. Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt, decided that to stop God's family getting any bigger, he would work them really, really hard and kill all of the baby boys. Moses' mum was like, "Nuh-uh, nope, not my boy." She came up with a plan to save him. Moses' family lived next to the massive Nile River, so his mum made a special waterproof basket and put Moses inside and set him afloat on the river. I wonder if she knew that there were crocodiles in there. Anyway, God protected Moses and he floated down the river until his basket came to rest beside the Egyptian palace, and Pharaoh's own daughter found him and decided to adopt him and raise him as her own son. Imagine that! Now Moses would grow up as a prince living in a palace. But as he grew up, he always knew that he was different. He saw how the Israelites were being treated, and it made him so sad. Then it made him mad, and then he made a really, really bad choice. And because of that, he ran away and spent the next 40 years hiding in the desert. Eventually, God came to Moses and spoke to him from a burning bush and reminded him that he was part of a much bigger plan, and now was the time for him to go home and help set his family free. Moses wasn't super keen, and he made up lots of excuses for why he couldn't do what God needed him to do. "I'm no one special. They won't listen to me." And God was like, "I'll be with you every step of the way." Then Moses was like, "But I find it really hard to talk in front of people. My words get all muddled up." And God was like, "I'll help you. You just have to trust me. In fact, you can take your brother along and he can help with the talking." So Moses listened to God and headed back to Egypt to talk to Pharaoh. "Let my people go," he said. And Pharaoh was like, Nope. This happened 7 times, and each time God told Moses to stretch out his special walking staff, and when he did, God performed some pretty wacky miracles, like sending swarms of bugs and frogs to cover the entire land to show Pharaoh and the Egyptian people that he was serious. But they were really slow to listen. Eventually, Pharaoh got it and told Moses, "Just go." And Moses and the Israelites were like, "Well, okay then." But no sooner had they left, and he changed his mind, and he sent his army to chase them down and bring them back. But again, God worked a miracle, and the Israelites stood with the Red Sea before them and the Egyptian army behind them. It looked like they were trapped. They had nowhere to go, but God had a plan to save them. He told Moses to reach out his walking staff again over the water, and as he did, God parted the sea right down the middle so his people could escape. The people celebrated their freedom as they moved towards the land that God had promised them. Miriam, Moses' sister, started singing and thanking God by playing her tambourine, and all of the women and the girls, well, they followed her. They celebrated their freedom together as a family, a really, really big family. God showed them which way to go by putting a massive cloud that moved forward in the sky for them during the day, and at night they followed a big ball of fire. God told his family what he expected of them. He gave them some values to live by, which the Bible calls the 10 Commandments. They gave everyone a really good guide on how to treat each other and how to best love and serve him. God also gave them plans to build a tabernacle, which was like a really amazing meeting house. It reminded God's people that he was always with them. This was all a part of God's rescue plan to save his people. Choosing to trust God when things are going good is really easy, right? But as lifelong followers of Jesus, he wants us to trust him with every part of our lives, the good, the hard, and the scary, knowing that he walks with us every step of our journey.
Before we go any further, let's check in with some of our amazing Salvation Army tamariki from across the motu.
Hi, my name is Aotearoa. I live in Auckland. My favourite things to do is hanging out with my family and doing art. What I love about following Jesus is that he is always there for me. My favourite Bible story is the Good Samaritan because he helped the man who was beaten up. Bye!
Ko koe tonu aronga. You are too awesome. Thanks so much for sharing with us.
Kia ora, Sally Telly whānau, and welcome to Deep Dive with Bree and Missy.
Today, we're in the middle of the North Island at an amazing place. We're at the Salvation Army Blue Mountain Adventure Centre. Now, this place is epic. We're going to go down and meet some amazing people. So come down and check them out with us, eh? Let's go, Missy.
Come on.
Come this way, kids. Hey, guys. Go on, clip it up. Is it right, boss? Can you help me? Sorry, kids. Hey, man, we've just got here. How are you? Oh, wait. Are you going to be able to do that?
Yeah.
No. It's actually pretty high. Is it pretty scary, sort of doing this kind of thing?
No, it's not scary. No way.
What?
There
Hey guys, thanks so much for having us here at Blue Mountain Adventure Centre. I'm pretty excited. However, I'm not really excited about what we're going to do. But before we do that, we just need to know a little bit more about you. So you all live around this area? Yeah. So you're all friends? Yeah, cool. But some of you look a little bit similar. So are they like brothers or sisters here?
Yeah. There's me, I'm Alishka, this is Cruz and Meshach and Hosanna here. And then, we're all siblings. And then there's these two, their siblings Rosie and Grace. Woo. And then these two, other people, Nina and Idana.
Awesome. Now, what is your favourite thing about living out here in Raurimu? Because look, I live in the city where there's a lot of noise, it's a bit smelly because of all the pollution, and there's no pollution out here. What's your favourite thing about living out here?
It's pretty cool because you can like play in the bushes and there's like no stopping.
Really?
Playing in the bushes because you can just go do stuff.
That is amazing. What about you, bro?
The swing in the river?
The swing in the river. Do you swim in this river?
Yeah. Yes.
Wait, it's freezing.
Well, we like to do hunting too. That's pretty fun.
Sounds amazing. Well, that's awesome. Okay, let's go back to this thing. That looks terrifying. Have any of you done this before?
No. Yes.
So no?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Who has done it more than once? Oh, okay. Were you guys a little bit scared the first time you did this?
Definitely. I got up there and then I was asked to do something which was kind of freaky. They asked me to do a star jump off the log and I was like, no. Yeah, that's where I got a bit freaky.
Okay, well, some of you haven't done it. Do you reckon it looks a little bit frightening out there?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Well, what do you reckon we go and give it a shot?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. Let's go, come on. So Steve, tell us what you and your team are actually doing here.
Well, we've got a load of the local kids in from the area today, and we're just running a high rope session for them. So we've got two staff working, two of the kids going up one each side of the beam. They'll meet in the middle, maybe a little secret handshake, maybe a little wrestle, and then we'll lower them back down again, safe and sound to the ground.
Okay, well that sounds terrifying. Can you just tell us what they actually do when they sort of go up there? Is it scary? It must be scary.
It is. I watched you chatting with them earlier, and they were like, "No, it's not scary." But I was here when some of them went up the first time, and yet they were pretty scared about it. But what we do is everything that we do is geared to keep people safe. So we've got one person belaying, one person backing up. We've got a little device that even if everyone passes out and falls on the floor, we'll still catch them if they do fall from the top. So we can't make it any safer, but even knowing all that, it's still mildly terrifying doing things like this for the first time.
Yes. Well, it does look extremely terrifying, but these kids look extremely brave. You know what, Sally Telly kids? This is actually a little bit like being a follower of Jesus. Sometimes being a follower of Jesus can be a little bit scary, especially because we can't see him. But the one thing we do know, and we learn this in the Bible, that we can absolutely trust God no matter what. Well, it's time for us to sign off from Sally Telly here, but I think this guy here has got something a little bit terrifying for me to do, and I'm not really that excited about it. Are you?
I am excited. We've got a big swing for you. It's going to be brilliant.
Okay, well, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week, hopefully. Let's go. Okay, we can start now. Come on. Hang on.
You want another go?
No. You sure? Look, you guys.
Go on then. Put that down.
Do you know what was the worst part? I don't think it was that scary.
God, thank you that you are my friend.
You told us that it is not good to be alone. God, you bless us with family and friends all around us. Thank you for giving us people to talk and laugh with. Help me to be kind like you, God, to be a good friend to others and spread your amazing love.
God's rescue plan always had a clear mission to make a way for all people to be His family again. God was using the Israelites to help with His plan, but the truth was that they weren't always too helpful. But God didn't give up on them or His plan. He was going to keep His promise. He loved everyone too much to stop. Even though the Israelites couldn't see God, He found ways to make sure that they always knew He was with them, just like He's with us today.